הייתי רוצה לדבר אליכם היום בעברית, אבל רק התחלתי ללמוד את השפה, אז סליחה שאני עובר פרק באנגלית. So that was my Hebrew for today. It's a difficult language. It's a wonderful language. I love the sound of it, but it's bloody difficult to learn. And I have language class later this afternoon, and again I will feel like a total beginner. But maybe next year I can say a little more already. Dear Deborah Haberfeld, dear Joshua Shafir, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to thank you so very much for letting me be your guest today and for listening to me for a couple of minutes. It's a great honor to be here, and you can imagine that for a German ambassador to be with the Jeckes is not only that something that is an honor, but it's also, it goes without saying that we feel responsible in many ways for you, and we like to be the embassy of your choice, that when you have a problem you turn to us. The Jeckes, and I don't really need to tell you this because you know it and you live it, contributed greatly to the foundation of the State of Israel, to all its institutions in all the fields, from music to the arts, to medicine, education, social assistance, science, literature. The Jeckes stand for the rule of law, for humanistic and liberal values, and very importantly they transfer these values to the future generations, and I think this is something that the entire Israeli society benefits from greatly. So the Jeckes are bridge builders between Israel and Germany, and to this day your association has never ceased working for this community, and it is run, as I understand now, mostly on a voluntary basis by second and third generations of its founders. This is very impressive, and I would like to thank everyone who is actively involved in the running of this and who puts time and energy into this. Personally, when I think of a Jecke, I think of an afternoon that I spent maybe 4 weeks ago with Regina Steinitz, and I think some of you may know her. She lives in Ramat Aviv, I think it was, and my wife and I went to visit her on a Sunday afternoon. She had prepared Apfelstrudel, and we had such a fascinating and also very moving afternoon listening to her. She's from Berlin. She grew up very close to where I lived in Berlin, Auguststraße in Berlin-Mitte, if anybody happens to know. And to hear her speak about this time, to hear her speak about her later life in Israel that she built with her husband, also a Holocaust survivor, was deeply, deeply moving to me. And there was a moment in that afternoon which is absolutely magical, that I will never forget, is when she said, "Let's sing a song." And I thought, oh my God, she doesn't want to hear me sing. And then she broke into the old German song, "Die Gedanken sind frei." I don't know if anybody knows it. And she knew the words like 5 verses, and I know the words maybe from the first 2 verses. And we went through all the verses and we sang that song, the 3 of us, my wife, Regina Steinitz, and it was magical. It was a very, very beautiful moment. Another person that I think of personally when I think of Jeckes is a gentleman I met last week. His name is Benno Erteschik. He's 101 years old. And I had the great honor in the German embassy to hand him the certificate of his German citizenship. 84 years after he was forced to flee from Wiesbaden, his native town, 84 years later he came to the German embassy and he received from me the certificate of his German citizenship. And he said, you know, this means so much to me, because of course I'm a total Israeli now, and I'm totally devoted to this homeland of mine. But deep down in my head, in my heart, in my brain, I'm still also German. And to have this now certified by holding the passport means so much to me. And it meant a lot to me as the German ambassador. So this is these are two personal meetings I had, and very deep impressions I had meeting with Jeckes, and I'm sure I could have a lot more. I'm sure I will have a lot more in the coming years. So this is why I'm very happy to be here. I'm also very glad that Germany, the Federal Republic of Germany, the embassy was able to help you in preserving the history of the Jeckes. And this is the already mentioned museum, the Museum of the German-speaking Jewry, but I think the Jeckes Heritage Center has a better sound to it. It had to leave its place in Schtefan, but fortunately a new location could be found at the University of Haifa in the Hecht Museum, and I'm so looking forward to see a finished result when it actually is open to the public. Germany contributed a little over €1 million to this, and I cannot wait to see it in its new location. So that'll be another highlight coming up next year. It was said before, I'm the Shagrir HaChadash, so I've only been here for 2 months. I cannot pretend to be the great expert on Israel. I've only been here for 8 weeks, so I cannot, but I can maybe give you a few impressions that I have from these first 8 weeks. First of all, it's an incredible country. It's a country that moves you and that stirs you both intellectually and emotionally. It's a very intense country. People speak to you in a very direct and frank way. There's not much small talk. You're straight to the point. When you're from Berlin, you're well prepared for that, by the way. If you're from a more genteel part of Germany, that might be a shock, but Berliners are like that too, so it helps. What really strikes me is there doesn't seem to be just one Israel. It's many societies within this country. Israel that can be the Jewish family that's, with a Jecke background, emigrated, grandfather, grandmother survived the Holocaust, emigrated from Germany or Poland or some such country. Israel that can also be an Arab person living in Jaffa. Israel that can be a Haredi from Mea Shearim. It can be a secular Jewish gay couple from the United States who came here in the Corona pandemic and chose to live in Tel Aviv. It can be a Bedouin in the Negev. It can be someone in the very small but still important Christian community which meets every Sunday at the Abbey Domizio in Jerusalem. So I could go on and on. There are so many facets, so many stones that make up this mosaic of Israel. My feeling in these first 8 weeks is that sometimes they live very parallel lives without actually, a lot of meeting, a lot of contact. So as an ambassador, I think I will be very devoted to this idea of shared society, to this idea of bringing as much as we can help as the German embassy, by supporting projects and initiatives of bringing people together, not just within their own group, but also trying to bring them together from other groups. I've had some great experiences with projects. There's one I'm thinking of. I don't know if you've ever heard of Hagal Shili, which is it's a young organization of surfers, people who surf. And their great idea is that surfing is also a school for life. What happens out at the sea is a school for life. And they bring together troubled young people from all possible backgrounds. There are Orthodox, secular, Arab young people. And they bring them together in surfing classes where they also teach them about life. And it so happens that a real bond and real friendships develop that would otherwise never have happened, because these children would not have met. And I find that extremely encouraging. Well, there's a wonderful place in Jerusalem that I met, that I've been to several times now, the St. Charles Hospice, run by wonderful nuns, sisters from the Borromeo order, Catholic nuns, who have a kindergarten that's got nearly only children from Arab families in East Jerusalem who bring their children to be educated by Catholic nuns. What a wonderful sign of, trust in one another, and it works beautifully. Tolerance through dialogue. So this is something that, as an ambassador and with the help of my colleagues in the embassy, we're trying to support. We're trying to help projects that do this, because we want this mosaic of Israel to be a safe and happy and secure society. This is, I think, what we stand for. We're very, very committed to, as the German government, as the state of Germany, we're very committed to this country, Israel, for all the obvious reasons. Goes without saying. We've had a great visit from your state president, Yitzhak Herzog, in Germany only last week, and I had the honor of accompanying him there. Right now, your Prime Minister, Yair Lapid, is in Berlin to meet our Chancellor. So there's a very, very close relationship. There are 2 German ministers in Israel right now. So there are visits every day, delegations everywhere. And we try to really make this friendship even stronger and even deeper. So this is what I stand for as the German ambassador. And I think the Israeli president said it very beautifully in the Bundestag last week. Yitzhak Herzog gave a wonderful speech, an absolutely almost poetic speech. It was very beautiful. And he said, history has bound the Jewish people and the state of Israel to Germany indivisibly, in a bond of memory and in a bond of meaning, a bond that must find expression in the realms of the past, the present, and the future. And I think this is what we all work for. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the Jewish tradition, Rosh Hashanah is the anniversary of the creation of the world, which is, I think, very beautiful. It goes well, well, well beyond any kind of German New Year's celebration. It's a totally different dimension. So on this special occasion, it's time to look forward, not backward. It's a time of new beginnings and of repairing relationships, of offering forgiveness to others. It's time to look toward the future with optimism about the opportunities and optimism about new horizons. In that sense, and in that spirit, I wish you personally all the best for the new year, the Shana HaChadasha. May it be filled with peace, security, health, and prosperity for all of you and all of your families. Well, normally I would say let us raise our glasses, but it's a little early for that. But anyway, let's finish with the traditional blessing, L'Shana Tova U'Metuka. May it be a good and a sweet year for all of you. Thank you very much for having me.